Fans around the world, thank you for joining me once again here on Boxing News Today. Let's have a quick look at an upcoming fight taking place at the Mohegan Sun Arena on February 3rd, courtesy of our friends over at CES Boxing, who return with not one, not two, but three title fights. The main event featuring the return of Chordale the Gift Booker, who's 21-1 with 10 knockouts, as he makes the second defense of his WBC Silver Super Welterweight title against the former world title challenger Greg the Villain Vendetti. In the co-feature, undefeated Southpaw Francis Frank the Tank Hogan, 15-0, 14 knockouts, battles Paul Mendez for the vacant WBC USA Silver Middleweight title. And the third title fight of the night features Ricky De Los Santos, 11-1, against Nathan Martinez, 8-2, in an 8-round bout of the vacant WBC US Silver Featherweight title. Good news out of the Mohegan Sun Arena, and good news for CS Boxing. Thanks for sharing that, by the way. In other news, air quotes, Mike Coppinger out of ESPN is reporting that Jermell Charlo was arrested this past weekend in Texas and charged with misdemeanor assault causing bodily harm to a family member. A Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office public information officer told ESPN on Wednesday. Charlo, 33 years of age, was released after bond was posted, according to the court records. The victim of the alleged assault was not named. Charlo's wife, however, Shane Westbrook, filed for temporary restraining order along with a divorce from Charlo. As you all know, he fights under the Premier Boxing Champions banner, but a PBC representative did not respond to any messages from ESPN seeking comment. As you may recall, back in May 2018, Charlo was charged with felony domestic violence after he allegedly choked his then girlfriend. The following year, he was acquitted after a jury found him not guilty. His record, by the way, 35-2-1, 19 knockouts. He's unified junior middleweight champ and is ESPN's top boxer at 154. He moved up to 168 in September for career best opportunity against boxing's top star Canelo Alvarez. Charlo lost virtually every round and was dropped in round number 7 in a unanimous decision defeat for the undisputed super middleweight championship. His twin brother Jermell Charlo is the WBC middleweight champion. Wow, those guys are trouble. Anyway, Eddie Hearn wants to sign promotional free agent Gervonta Tank Davis to his Matchroom stable and put a fight together with Devin Haney. This is courtesy of our friends over at boxing247.com, who say Hearn says the popular Baltimore native Tank, 29-0, 27 knockouts, is no longer with Mayweather Promotions, so he wants to speak to him to offer him a bunch of money to join his stable. Hearn hopes to lure the popular face of boxing, Gervonta, in, sign him, and then put him together a mega fight with WBC light welterweight champion Devin Haney. Eddie said he tried to speak with Tank on the phone, but he didn't have any luck. He wants to talk with him in person, see if he can make any headway in a one-on-one conversation. And if Hearn can sign the 29-year-old Tank, now he'd be fighting on DAZN, obviously, and he would look to match him against the biggest names at 140, starting with Haney and then likely a rematch with Ryan Garcia. Hearn took issue recently with Tank's former promoter, Leonard Ellerbe, commenting on him speaking with him. He feels that Ellerbe has no say in the matter, considering that Tank is no longer signed with Mayweather Promotions. Hearn said, "What do you do? You're not officially involved with Gervonta Davis in any capacity. He's left Mayweather Promotions. You do not have a TV deal. You do not have any fighters. You used to try and take the Mickey out of DAZN, and Gervonta just boxed on DAZN. And Deontay is boxing on DAZN this weekend. Everyone is boxing on DAZN." So it sounds like Ellerbe got his feathers ruffled at seeing Hearn make such a move. And if he inks with the British promoter, it puts any possibility of Mayweather Promotions re-signing him on hold. And if Hearn can sign Tank, he might stay for the duration, which would leave Floyd's company out in the cold. Continued Hearn. So now what you want to have a go at me for reaching out to Gervonta direct? Tough shit. I do what I want. I ain't gonna reach out to you, am I? What does that have to do with you? Nothing, said Hearn. Ellerbe, is more of a fan now. The fans have a lot to say on the situation. It's like that. I spoke to him yesterday. Said Hearn about Gervonta. I don't post DMs like Gervonta Davis does, but it wasn't about the deal. We were just talking in general, and I'll say on the record, I actually said, do you remember my comments? Do you remember where I said, he's Tank, not a deep thinker? That pissed him off. I know how things work. Everybody, especially Leonard and those guys, will try and get Tank against me. Oh, Eddie Hearn, he's not. He wants to rob you. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. He'll never pay you right. If Tank Davis is a free agent, as Hearn says, it's odd that LRB would be chiming in about his wanting to speak with him. Why would he want to say anything at all if Tank is gone, unlikely to never come back in the fold? So when I say something like that, did you see what Eddie Hearn said? That guy, he can't be trusted. This is how boxing works, right? What I said was, I was asked a question about Gervonta Davis against Ryan Garcia, where I said, Gervonta Davis will win by stoppage, said Hearn. I said, one of the reasons Gervonta Davis is so good, he's so dangerous, is that he's not a deep thinker. And what I mean by that is he's not a deep thinker. Then I said he's not articulate. And that was actually a wrong word to use. It's good that Ed Hearn is he's trying to mend fences with Tank Davis over his misuse of the wrong word when talking about him. Ideally, Hearn should have gone public back when he first used the terms, as there was a firestorm of criticism about it. However, he said, when I spoke to Gervonta, I actually said, because he wasn't happy with my comment, I stand by my comment. And what I mean by that is, you're a dangerous guy, and if you don't give a fuck, he's not going to sit there and go, oh, I've got a fight on Saturday. I don't know. That's a dangerous fight. He's a savage, which makes him what he is. But I shouldn't have used that word. Actually, it was the wrong word to use for that. I apologize. I did actually say to him, I actually shouldn't have used that word, but I stand by the not a deep thinker, not a overthinker. That's what makes him what he is. He's a brilliant fighter and a savage. Well, we'll see where that goes. As we all know now, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are set to clash in March of 2024 if they both win their respective fights, which we'll discuss in a few moments. But apparently it's being negotiated as a 2-fight series in 2024. So we'll see where that goes. But it all is contingent on whether Joshua can beat Otto Wallin and Deontay Wilder can beat Joseph Parker. Both tough fights. Let's have a quick look at Joshua. His potential Achilles heel is his mental game. His knockout loss to Andy Ruiz Jr. and his 2 back-to-back defeats at the hands of current heavyweight unified champ Alexander Usyk have spotlighted Joshua's vulnerability in the past. He's gone through a revolving door of trainers, as we all know, seeking guidance to refine his boxing style and develop his skills. But according to ESPN, a fighter can lose themselves after a few setbacks, forgetting who they were before the losses. In search of his confidence, Joshua enlisted trainer Robert Garcia for his rematch against Usyk in hopes of fighting more in the style of a Mexican pressure fighter, but he still lost a split decision. Then he switched to Derek James, a more technical trainer, to prepare for his bouts against Jermaine Franklin and Robert Helenius, which he won. For this upcoming match against Wallin, Joshua has turned to the well-respected Ben Davison, a trainer renowned for cerebral and tactical approach to boxing, cemented in the mentality of hit and don't get hit. However, a successful boxer-trainer relationship is not built overnight. It requires time, trust, and mutual understanding to break old habits and cultivate new strategies. While Joshua may be seeking a confidence boost, Davison's real challenge will be to understand Joshua's psyche, his motivations, and his potential trigger points, both physical and mental. Let's have a quick look at what the Sun over in the UK is saying about Wallin. Wallin, the Swede who left Tyson Fury covered in blood and needing 47 stitches above his eye during their close encounter 4 years ago, he has won all 6 of his fights since. But only one has come via knockout, and he hasn't looked anywhere near the threat he did against Fury in Las Vegas. Joshua could be elevated into a mandatory position to fight for the IBF title currently held by Usyk with a win over Wallin, with potential mega fights against Fury or Deontay Wilder also on his radar, as I just discussed. Having struggled with lefties in the past, however, Joshua will need to be on his A game against Wallin if he wants to fight for a world title again. And fans certainly can't wait for this humdinger to start. AJ's fall from grace has been tough to see for supporters, with many still reckoning he can mix with the very best of the heavyweight world. Against Wallin, Joshua has a chance to show he can indeed carry the hopes of a nation once more. There go the English. And with rival Tyson Fury almost getting beaten by Wallin, a win would certainly boost AJ's confidence ahead of a potential showdown with Deontay Wilder. So let's have a quick look about Wilder. Wilder hasn't fought since he knocked out AJ's latest victim, Robert Helenius, back in October 22. The bout was his first since his thrilling back-to-back defeats against Tyson Fury. So Joseph Parker goes into the fight on the back of winning his last 3 fights since his loss to British fighter Joe Joyce in September 2022. So this card coming up in Riyadh could set up another big money fight in Saudi Arabia, with Wilder set to clash with Joshua if they both win in 2024. Now, to end this on a somewhat of a lighter note, Frank Warren was with Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury had a rather brilliant comment. Joseph Parker actually trains with Tyson, so Tyson had this to say in terms of advice to Joseph Parker as to how he might win. Don't get hit for 36 minutes. Great advice from Tyson Fury to any boxer, I suppose, in the world. Don't get hit. Love it. All right, fight fans. Thanks for joining me here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, for more boxing news, headlines, previews, recaps as we move towards that big fight in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure we'll have more fun quotes to share with you. We'll see you then.